Yo, what's going on, gamers? Your boy mav-rik here, and welcome back to another daily dose. Hope you guys are doing well on this Monday. I wonder if that gets old for you guys. Just me telling you guys how grateful I am for the support. Loved reading all the questions of the day from yesterday. And hope we have another good week. Hey, we did a week strong of the daily dose, and I hope you guys appreciate it. I think we got something good going here. We're gonna try and go. I'm gonna tell y'all, this is an ultimate level of consistency. And will I achieve this? I don't know, but I definitely like to shoot high. I'm gonna try and do a year of these consistently without missing a day. Is it likely that I miss a day in a year? Definitely. It is definitely possible I miss a lot of days, especially with my schedule being so random at times. But I really am committed for you guys. I'm really committed to you guys getting to know me better and me getting to know you guys better. And I think the connection we will have if I am able to crank out these consistently for a year will be a type of connection that I'm sure most YouTubers don't have. And it especially gamers, but I know there's a lot of other niches on YouTube where it's just natural for them to get to know you. Some people are just straight vloggers and people that's all they do and people know their lives, but especially for the gaming niche, I think I will have a very unique. And I wish I could get everyone to watch these videos, but I just think over the course of the year, we'll have enough. I'll have a core of you guys that watch these, and even other people that jump in and out every now and then. But I think we'll have an awesome relationship built, and I've set that as a goal. So yeah, let's see how far we get into it. And I shouldn't have done a 2-minute intro because I gotta let you guys know I'm gonna try and keep. This video is going to be at least around 20 minutes, maybe under. So I'm going to try to be very effective with my questions, not ramble as much as I usually do. Reason being, today's a busy day. This will be a busy week in general, a big gaming week. I got Far Cry, GTA coming out, or Far Cry and GTA. I might dabble into some of the other games that drop. Like, isn't there a wrestling game? What is it, like Dark Age or something? Inquisition? I don't know. There's just so many games, and that's gonna be one busy Mav. So, all right, let's hop into these questions right away. My man Jeremy asks, "Hey, I'm Mav. How's it going?" Going good, man. How are you doing? I have an interesting question for you today. If you could go back in time and reverse one decision you made in your life, what would it be and why? Would appreciate a response, and you have a good day. Hashtag G1GB. Thank you, Jeremy. And I thought about this. I actually read this question. I went through it. I selected the questions I want to try and get to today. And so I had time to think about this. And I could not come up with anything. I won't say that I'm necessarily a person that lives without regrets, right? There's definitely things that I do where I'm like, crap, I wish that I didn't do that, or I wish I was better in that situation. But even still then, I can't think of any major decisions where I was like, man, I wish I would reverse that. Because even with some of my bigger mistakes, I think it was really cool for me to see God's love, God's forgiveness, and just the freedom that we have in Jesus. So if I didn't do those things and I was perfect, right, I wouldn't have been able to experience that, and I wouldn't be able to connect with a lot of other people. So, not saying that I feel like I have a license to be, to just do a bunch of decisions that I regret. But I just really can't think of anything that I would go in reverse, because that was part of the question. So even, some of my bigger mistakes, I'm almost glad they happened, because even there's usually almost a lesson in everything, and that's the big thing. Is it's not necessarily bad that you make mistakes. You just want to learn. You just want to be moving forward in life and always making new mistakes. And I can say that I'm definitely one of those people that I rarely make the same mistake. and you won't catch me in a pattern of making the same mistake, because once I'm aware to it and I'm hip to it as a mistake, I'm really proactive in trying to fix it. With that being said, still far from perfect, and God ain't done with me yet. But yeah, so it's like I feel like if I take away any certain mistake, especially the big ones, it's like I'm also taking a big lesson away from it as well. You know what I mean? So with that mistake came a big learning lesson. So I can't think of anything that I would reverse. But really good question, inspired, and it sparked a lot of thought in my mind. Good question, Jeremy. Moving on to my man Riley. Yo, Mav, love your vids. Thank you. I appreciate the support. What was the event that led you to being so religious? And again, I know I get what people are saying, but I just want to reiterate that, I don't believe in religion. I just love me some Jesus. But there really wasn't no event for me. I was talking to my discipleship group about this earlier in the year. I was like, man, I don't have this crazy testimonial that just sparks a lot of interest and shock in people, because some of the people in my group, they had amazing testimonies. I mean, there was a guy that, was homeless for so many years, a drug addict for like umpteen years, was locked up in prison, was in a high-speed chase with cops, and then, and I think it was in prison he gave his life to Christ, and now he's out, and he's just so on fire. He's just bringing so many people to God, and it's amazing, right? It's like, dang, he came from the bottom. And, now even just there was someone in my group that was a severe alcoholic, and then just literally woke up one day, that urge was gone, just gone. And then he was just searching for answers, and gave his life to Christ, and has been clean since. Hasn't even, getting off of addictions like that is hard for some people, but he just woke up and it was gone. Hasn't had the urge, has been strong. And it's like, wow, that's amazing. Now, I've had little things that, I wouldn't even say them little, but they've been big to me. But, God's done certain things in my life, but I didn't have that transformation, that one defining moment. And because I was raised in a Christian home. Like, my mom, diehard Christian, always made sure I was in church. I didn't like church growing up. But like I said, it was kind of just a routine I went through, not necessarily something I lived to my core like I do now. And so there was a switch that was flipped. And I keep saying about 2 years ago. I don't know. What I really need to do is sit down and write my testimony out and really have dates in line. But even when that switch was flipped, it wasn't a defining moment then. It was just me still constantly going to church and just consistently going there, and God's word was just chipping away at me, and then finally it hit. And again, it wasn't like a fast process. It was just like, man, I got to get stuff together. And I was going through these things, and I was like, man, things I had been dealing with for years or months, and I was like, man, I'm not going anywhere with this. Like, I've tried these books, I've tried that. Like, let me really try this Jesus thing out, right? And I just slowly start moving myself down that road, and I start getting more and more results, and then start having more and more experiences, and really feeling God's love and Him moving in my life. And now I'm where I'm at, and it's still an uphill battle, right? But there wasn't no one moment for me, which might be encouraging for some people, right? And that's why God's got His people in different areas. My story might relate to some of you guys, because some of you guys haven't been, well, I don't want to say from the bottom. It depends. Like, I've had some very, very bad financial lows, right? But even in those financial lows, I still had, a trust in God. So like that, I don't have no low as far as not knowing who God is and not believing in Him, right? Like, I wasn't an atheist turned Christian, so I don't have that story. And even when I wasn't on fire for God, I still feel like I was a good person, right? And so there's a lot of good people out there. I believe there's a lot of good people that'll still go to hell if they don't believe in Jesus, and not just believing in Jesus, but that he's the son of God. So yeah, man, there was no big defining moment for me. But again, there's a lot of people. There's still, and that's what my discipleship group and the leader was able to help me realize, that my story fits for some people, and my story's encouragement for someone like myself, right? That's parenting now, and I want to raise my kids up, and I don't want them to ever have to fall off from God and then have to return and just reach these lows and have to go on a high-speed chase and be in prison to find God. And as a parent, I hope that I can raise my kids to have a similar testimony to me, a little bit stronger from the beginning. But yeah, so in a whole, that is my testimony. And of course, I've had pits in my life, but I'm just trying to say there wasn't that one moment. All right. Good question. Did I shout you out? Was it Riley? Good question, Riley. All right, moving on to my man Bryce. Hey, I have 2 questions. How much does God affect your life and your families? And what is the most defining moment in your life? I want to say this is crazy. A lot of these questions, it's crazy that so many people have these spiritual questions. I'm not skipping any questions. For anyone that thinks like, man, there's a lot of Bible and Jesus talk here, that's because there's a lot of those questions. I'm not skipping any questions that don't have to do with that. I'm not trying to turn this into a series where I share my faith every video and preach. Again, at the root of this, I want you guys to get to know me, and I get to know you, but it's impossible for you to get to know me and there not be Jesus at the forefront. So you guys, if that's one thing you're learning, that's the main point. But yeah, like, these are just the questions that are coming in order. But at the bottom, he also says, also, I am going to show my support. You're by far my favorite YouTuber ever. 3 exclamation points. I love your videos. They make me laugh all the time. I've been subscribed for a long time now. I showed all of my friends your videos, and they love them as much as I do. And all my friends subscribed. I have just really wanted to show you how much I support you. Stay amazing and keep great videos. Please reply, Bryce T. Appreciate you, man. All right, so the first question. How much does God affect your life and your families? Our whole life is built around him. You know what I mean? And we have this filter, right? So everyone has a filter, whether you know it or not, that you see life through. So, some filters, and sometimes we have multiple filters, but, some of us see everything with insecurities. So that's why you might look at a situation and run from it, or be fearful of it, or make a dumb decision because your filter is just clogged with insecurities. A lot of people look through life with the filter of fear. People have different pains. Of course, there's different religions. There's atheism that most people make a religion, and so everything you look through the filter, and we always do our best to make sure that we have this biblical filter with God's word, right? It's funny this Bible makes it into every video. I don't even read this one no more specifically, but as far as everything, and it's like with all these questions you guys ask me, of course I look through them through a biblical filter, and that's the influence that God has. And everything that I do, I always try my best, right? So, and again, that doesn't mean I'm perfect, because most people will be like, oh, Christians are so hypocritical. You did this and that was wrong. You messed up. That's not the point of Christianity, is to try and be perfect. The point is that I serve a God that is perfect. And so thank God I don't have to be perfect. And so I don't say that to say that I always succeed and I don't ever lose my temper, or I don't ever fall short, or I don't ever mess up. That's not what I'm saying, but I do my best. And I'm at a point in my life where I'm doing it better than I ever have at any other point in my life. It's everything. Every decision I make, whether it's through my channel, with my family, I'm praying on it. I'm like, God, what do you want me to do? And I'm really doing my best to just let God use me. And I'm finding my joy in him. and trying to further this kingdom. So yeah, he affects everything from the finances to how we raise our kids to the videos I make. It's everything, because I don't ever want to be out of line in something that's against his word. And what is the most defining moment in your life? Again, I don't know if I have one of those. There's a few defining moments, and I've had time to think about this question too. This is a little bit different than the last one, because it's not like a come to Jesus moment, or not a something that I want to reverse in my life. And it's not like a moment where I just came to God, like I wasn't with God before, and I just was like, yes, I believe now. I never had one of those moments, but I feel like I've had a few defining moments in my life, and I thought about this, and I'm kind of mad at myself. I should have wrote them down because I'm forgetting some. So these probably won't be in no type of order, but a big one for me was as an adult, right? Since I've had kids and being with my wife, so married, we got married before we had any kids, but there was a moment where we were going through some bad financial struggles, right? And my mom and my dad have been getting married and divorced three different times, right? So this was a time recently before my dad passed away where they were together. Since I've had my kids, so it was within 3 years. I think I just had one at this time. My second might have been born. I'd have to sit down and really think about it. But we went through a really bad financial time, right? Where I was trying to get my marketing stuff off the ground. I just believed in it. And we've had a bunch, I don't even know if I was trying to get it off the ground. We've had so many highs and lows. Like, we've made money and then had stuff tank and had to build it back up. So we're going through a really low point. The lowest we've ever had, to where literally where we had to sell furniture to pay rent. We had to sell stuff. We had to sell stuff like TVs. We had furniture that we were paying on from like a place called Aaron's, or I don't know if you guys had a rent-a-center. It's like stuff you pay on every month until you pay it off. We were 2 months away from paying it off, and then just finances died, and they were like, sorry, you can't pay. So boom, we had been paying on it for like 2 years or something, and then 2 months away from being done, had it snatched, couldn't pay for it. We had to sell everything. Like, it was bad, right? And so we were going through this financial issue, and I just felt called, right? I was like, God, this is where you want me. I'm supposed to be an entrepreneur. But I was like, God, it's so hard seeing my family struggle. Like, food is low. Like, we're eating, but we're not eating the stuff we want to eat. We're barely eating. I'm so stressed right now. I was like, God, I'm just going to go out and get a job. Like, I got to handle my responsibilities as a man. But I had this weird, in the back, I had this weird peace and assurance where he was like, nah, this is where you're supposed to be. Not necessarily you're supposed to be poor, but as an entrepreneur, like, that is your calling. And every time I would look for jobs and try and, you know, maybe find a job for me to get into. I just had this real uneasy, unsettling feeling, and I was like, but God, why this isn't working right now? Like, I got to sell all my stuff. I had to sell my tablet, and I love my tablet. I just got it. It was like the Nexus 7. I was like, it's so dope. And I had to sell it to be able to pay bills and rent, and I was just like, yeah. And I was just like, God, like, but for some reason, I still just had this voice. It was like, nah, man, this is... And I was working. Oh, was I working? So it's not like I was just trying to be lazy. I was putting in 24, 48-hour days just trying to get this marketing stuff to work. And it just wasn't taking off just then. Like, you could see seeds being planted everywhere, and they were sprouting, but just not enough to support my family. And so there was a time where, despite everything I was feeling with God, I was like, I just need something, man. I knew what he was telling me, but I was like, I'm going to go out on it, or I'm going to go against that. And I got a job. We're reaching 20 minutes. I'm going to start wrapping this up. I was like, you know what? I don't know who I was thinking. I can't keep this stuff under 20 minutes. I had other questions, but we're not going to be able to get to them. So we're going to have to stop here with Bryce. But I was like, yo, all right, I'm going to go get this job, right? And it was what are those things called? Those annoying people to just call telemarketers, right? It was just the quickest thing, first thing I could get. I was like, I need something, because I was waking up stressed how I was going to feed my daughter, right, who needed formula at that time. And God, it was crazy. God I don't want to get too deep into this because I'll make this video 40 minutes, but God did some amazing things to the point where we would wake up. One day we woke up and groceries were just at our front door. Groceries. And if you know me, I'm not someone that complains, and I don't tell other people when I'm struggling. And so no one knew that we were struggling. Towards the end, my mom actually did know, and that's another testimony on its own, and it kind of connects, and I'm going to share that part. But for months, no one knew what we were going through. No one. And the beat ran out. And but yeah, there was a time where I woke up stressed. Like, last scoop of formula was put in my baby's bottle. I was like, all right. So I woke up today. So imagine this is the day I woke up. I was like, all right, there's no food. Like, to put, we're eating like beans and stuff, right? Ramen, all that's gone. Bank account negative, nothing. It's like, all right, we gotta eat today. I got a few choices, man. God tells me, right, in his word, that I really shouldn't worry about what I'm gonna eat, where I'm gonna stay, right? He tells me that. It's a promise. That he's going to supply those needs. He told me that. And so I was like, I could keep standing on that, or I could go out and beg. And that's hard for me to do. But I was like, yo, I'll drop all the pride I got because I need my daughter to eat. So I was going to go ask family for stuff. Or I could do something illegal, right? I could steal some stuff. So I was literally just woke up, cried, prayed, and I was weighing these options. Because I had slowly just watched things tank. And as they tank, I'm like, God, I got to do something. I got to get a job. And he's like, it was really weird to me. And so woke up, heard a knock on our doorbell. Took me a while to get to it. I see my brother's car driving off. And there is nothing but just groceries at our front door. Like bags and bags of groceries and food. And of course I freak out. I'm crying. I'm like, wow. They just blessed us with groceries right now. And how did they know? So I call them immediately. I'm like, just what the heck? How did you know that I needed this food? Like, I didn't tell no one. Like, that's not even me. And what's the funny part too is they were going through their own financial struggles. And for the last few months, we had been helping them. So as far as they knew, we were doing really well financially. And we had been helping them for months. And then he just told me, he was like, I don't know. He was like, God just told me. It was weird. He was like, God just put it on our spirit and said to drop groceries off at your door. I was like, what? Blown away. Me and my wife is crying like, what the heck, son? Like, yo. And so there was a lot of different times like that got us through the month. He used a lot of different people in my family. And for a while, I was really dependent on my mom too. But there got to a point where my dad, he literally almost forced my mom to stop helping us financially. And that's kind of what sparked some. I could go so deep into this, but really that kind of took the training wheels off for me when I couldn't depend on my mom, and I had to really focus on God, and God was able to do some things. And it was also that was a really big defining moment for me, because that was one of the biggest times I had to put trust in God and just let him come through. And I really had to test his word, because when you read something and it's like, all right, God, you say I don't got to worry about where I'm going to stay, what I'm going to have to eat. And the Bible also talks about, faith. The definition of faith. So what is faith? Faith is the confident assurance that what we hope for is going to happen. It's the evidence of things that we can't see, right? So based off what I could see, as we was broke, we was poor, we wasn't about to eat, but I still had to have faith in what God's word said, and you had to believe it. And it's like, yeah, God, I see what you say here, but yeah, technically we've had stuff to eat, but it hasn't been what I wanted to eat. And as of today, we have nothing to eat. So what now? Right? And then you just get groceries dropped off out of nowhere. Like, that'll blow your mind, son, when you're in the midst of that. And so And it's stuff like that it's like, okay, how do you scientifically prove that? When someone just doesn't know, when they just get some weird, not even weird for me, but for some people, they just get that movement in they spirit, and they're like, yo, let me go bless this person. And they don't even really have the room to be blessing people, and they're obedient in that, and then it's just crazy. And so yeah, that was a defining moment, because it was one of the first times I had to really just test God's word and allow him to be God in my life. And as an entrepreneur too, it really so then just to finish that story, things finally started to take root. Some marketing things, some seeds I had been planting really started to sprout. And what's crazy, I went for that job, right? I went to that job, and I took that job, and the first day I was there, I just felt disgusting. Probably because it was telemarketing to an extent, but also I was just something in my heart was like, this isn't right. You're not supposed to be here. I was on my lunch break and I cried. I was like, God, why do I feel like this? Like, I'm supposed to feel good. Like, all right, I'm gonna get paid weekly, right? So the end of some of this financial stuff is gonna be there. Like, it's incentive based too, and as good as I am talking to people, I'm about to rack this stuff. I'm about to kill it. I've had a decent first half of my first day, and it's just like, it ain't right. So I just left that, didn't come back to it. And then literally that next week, I would have to go back and look at a calendar and think about it. But I'm pretty sure, let's say I went to that job on like a Monday. Later that week on like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, some marketing stuff really blew up. And at that time, we had one of our biggest months ever. So we went from literally making like almost nothing to over 5 figures in that next month, starting a few days after that job. And it was like I almost let go of what God was telling me and threw it away and just went with the job, because if I would have been at the job, I wouldn't have the time to be just cranking out the work that I was doing. But it was crazy that I almost gave up just before I got my hands on what God had planned for me. So that was a really big defining moment for me. Like I said, just as an entrepreneur, but also just in really having to put my faith in God. And and this video is getting longer than I needed it to be, but there's been so many other ones, whether it's having to trust God with my wife's health. We've had some really scary times. But just because I'm so focused on eternity and God's kingdom, those moments jump out in my head most. I'm sure there's some other ones as a youngster as defining moments and stuff, but they're just not as fresh on my mind, because that's not where my head is. That's not that filter that I look through at the moment. But yeah, that was a really long ramble, but I hope it blessed y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed hearing that. It's pretty, whether you rock with some of my beliefs, that should have been a cool story anyway. And you guys got to know your boy a little bit better. Yeah. Most defining. Is that the most defining moment in my life? I don't know. Again, I would have to think more. But that was a really big defining moment. Dang, I even got some more coming to mind now, but I gotta wrap this video up. So maybe we readdress that in a future video, right? Hit y'all with a cliffhanger. Yeah, so that's that. Longer than expected, but still a good episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Question of the day. I'm recycling my man Bryce's comment. Question. What would you say is your most defining moment? Let me know in the comment section. Question of the day. Appreciate you guys supporting this series. Y'all be easy. Till next time. God first. Oh! God first, God bless. Sweatshirts, hoodies, apparel. You guys saw Wifey rocking one. That was an old one. Anyone from like the old Madden Mastermind days should realize that. We launched that a while back. So she's got an old one. We got some really new, cool, bunch of some funny, some really just powerful, some good designs, some way better stuff. So don't even worry about the one she had. The one she had is lame. We got some better stuff coming out. I don't want to give you guys a date because it's tied with the launch of the website, so we'll see. I'm still kind of just praying on some things. We're just trying to figure out the perfect launch date. So y'all just stay tuned on that. But appreciate y'all rocking with your boy. Till next time, God first. God bless.